ナモアミダ仏、ナモアミダ仏、ナモアミダ仏、ナマンダー、ナマンダー、ナマンダー、ナマンダー。
us bow our heads in meditation. As the sun shines upon the earth, awakening the seed that lies therein, so does the light of truth shed its glorious radiance in the hearts and minds of all mankind, calling forth into activity the compassion of the universe. May the same light shine upon us all, giving us the insight to realize that life is one, that we may constantly strive for the well-being, not only of ourselves, but also of all beings everywhere. Namo Amida Butsu, Namanda Butsu. Good morning, friends. I hope you had a safe and happy holiday season with your loved ones. I wish all of you much aloha for 2022, the year of the tiger. In complying with the request of Bishop Eric Matsumoto, I was assigned to Honpa Honganji Hawaii Betsuin as acting Rinban last week. I'll be looking forward working with the members of the temple, the board, various committees, and the affiliates. I have chosen as my topic this morning, Amida's vision, power to connect. Today, we need a good vision to find meaningful life and the strength to live true life with love and respect. It is wisdom and compassion of Amida Buddha that provides these qualities of life. This morning, I will talk about Amida Buddha's vision to see us and the power of his compassion to connect us. Friends, today we are living in the age of uncertainties. The COVID-19 pandemic has spread all over the world. It is producing devastating effects on all of us. Due to climate change, the warm air in the atmosphere has caused a series of wildfires on the mainland. The huge tornado destroyed many homes in Kentucky. On Oahu, we are facing a serious water contamination crisis. Our lives are surrounded by increasing numbers of uncertainties. This is unusual in our modern history. We Buddhists do not run away from these realities. We must face the uncertainties squarely to solve the problems. How can we do that? In order to do so, we must affirm the certainty of our spirituality. In Buddhism, that is the Dharma, the truth of existence. Because we are living in suffering and sorrow, the Dharma, which is beyond our mind and words, is manifested in the form and language. That is Amida, Buddha of infinite light and the immeasurable life. Because life is unsatisfactory, Bodhisattva Dhammakara made compassionate vows to be with us all the time, at all places. By fulfilling the vows, Dhammakara became Amida, to embrace us no matter where we are and no matter how old we become. Let us awaken to this vow of Amida Buddha. Then, as a result of our awakening to this working of the Dharma, we find that we all live in the huge net of interdependence. Last Monday was my first day in the temple office. After greeting David Atchison, the interim executive director, and calling Kunishige, the office coordinator, I entered the Rinban's office. The first thing that caught my attention was this net. I believe Reverend Hagio used to use this net to explain the Buddhist concept of interdependence. This principle is easy to understand, but sometimes difficult to practice. What does this net teach us? It tells us that each of us is just like a mesh in the net that is connected with all beings. In the book entitled The Buddha's Teaching, published by BDK, I found a good passage about interdependence. It reads, I quote, "As a net is made up by a series of knots, so everything in this world is connected by a series of knots. If anyone thinks that a mesh of a net is an independent and isolated thing, he is mistaken." The passage continues. It is called a net because it is made up of series of connected meshes, and each mesh has its place and responsibilities in relation to other meshes. End quote. In America, we are taught to become independent instead of being interdependent. I think it is a virtue in American culture to become successful and shine. But in human life, we are not always able to become successful and shine. So Buddhism teaches us to look within and realize that we are all interconnected. In order to shine in your mesh, you have to make others in other meshes shine. It is important for us to have this vision of oneness and the power to connect with others. And it is Amida's vision that helps those who are suffering and pain. In this Amida's vision, if there are those who are in the trouble, Amida's compassion reaches them and protects those in suffering. This vision of saving others and assisting them was once exemplified or demonstrated by a high school student of Lapapoipoi High School on the Big Island back in 1946. Those of you who are born and raised on the Big Island remember the big tsunami that hit the Lapahoihoi School on April 1st, 1946. This drawing shows how big the waves are. Okay? It was very disastrous. This is the third wave that attacked the peninsula. And this picture shows that the big wave washed a part of the school building away into the ocean. To make the long story short, the high school student whose name was Herbert Nishimoto was washed away by the huge wave and had to swim on the ocean to survive. He had a Boy Scout training, so he was able to collect broken doors and other numbers and put them together by a rope. So he continued to swim, and in a short while, he found two boys. So Herbert told them, come over. And three boys hanged on the material, broken material, and they had to swim for a while. That morning, the 3 boys were pushed by the current slowly towards north. Around noontime, a plane from U.S. Coast Guard from Hilo came, and the crew threw a life raft to the boys. So all afternoon, the life raft drifted towards north. At night, when the boys became hungry, they picked up a coconut and ate the meat. In the cold temperature at night, the boys hugged each other to keep themselves warm, and soon they became tired and fell asleep. Next morning, the life raft was drifting off Kohara Beach. It was a quiet, sunny morning. On the beach, there was 2 local boys fishing and witnessed the small objects on the raft. Remembering that there was a tsunami that hit Lapahoihoi Peninsula and numbers of school faculty and the students were killed, the boys thought that the students must be on the life raft. Instinctively, they jumped into the water and swam towards the boys and pulled the life raft to shore. The boys were taken to the Kohara Hospital for treatment. The parents of Herbert Nishimoto drove their car from Ninore to Kohara to meet the boys at the hospital. To the local boys who saved their son, Miss and Mrs. Nishimoto said, "Thank you, thank you." In reply, one of the boys silently pointed his finger to the window to see a wooden structure through the window. That was a church. The boy was a Mormon. He wanted to say that Nishimoto boy was saved through a miracle during Easter. It is a Christian perspective that someone is saved by others from a danger through a miracle. In the Buddhist perspective, someone is saved by others through danger, not by an accident or a miracle, but through the working of the causes and the conditions. When Herbert was thrown into the ocean of Lapahoihoi Peninsula, he saved 2 boys, and 3 boys were rescued by the 2 local boys in Kohara. In these valuable human efforts, I acknowledge the working of the causes and conditions that Buddhism talks about. The extraordinary and touching story of Herbert Nishimoto beautifully illustrates the Dharma, Amida's vision and power to save those in trouble in the net of interdependence. The Dharma is not static. It is a dynamic work to take one to the other shore of safety and peace. In Wasan poem, Shinran Shonin praises this dynamic working of the Dharma as a ship sailing on the sea. I quote, "The ocean of birth and death, of painful existence, has no bound. Only the ship of Amida's universal vow can we, who have been drowning, unfailingly be brought across it." May I repeat, the ocean of birth and death, of painful existence, has no bound. Only the ship of Amida's universal vow can we, who have been drowning, unfailingly to brought across it. End quote. On the ocean of human suffering, the ship of Amida's compassion can make us cross to the other shore of peace and happiness, the shore of enlightenment. This year's Honganji slogan is for us to build healthy sanghas, connecting with others in our community. Yes, we can achieve this goal through entrusting ourselves to Amida's compassionate vow that has been reaching our hearts and minds through the name that call Namo Amida Butsu. So let us be connected by Amida, and we connect with others. In the midst of increasing numbers of uncertainties in our society today, let us reaffirm our understanding of the certainty of the Dharma. That is Amida's vision and power to embrace all beings, both animate and inanimate. Thank you so much.